Coming up on College 101, I'll take you behind the books to discover the tips to have a successful transition from high school to college. Class is in session. Hello and welcome to College 101, your guide to collegiate success. I'm Tyler Hardin. Well, high school graduates are taking the next step towards achieving a college degree, which for many can be a very daunting process. But through preparedness, hard work, and dedication, you can take the fast track towards your dream job. Throughout College 101, I'll speak with experts who are standing by from local universities to give insight from how to stand out in admissions, adjust to residence life, and maintain a balance between classes and clubs. But first, how do high schools prepare students for taking the next step towards adulthood? I sat down with Guilford County Schools counselor Christy Squire to learn more.
I consider us to be the gateway from middle school to adulthood, and that's not necessarily an easy transition. So we work with students taking accountability coming in before the first day of school. We have summer orientation where we go over items such as time management, study skills, time, just prioritizing their time altogether.
From day one, high school counselors begin to make certain that students are aware of crucial skills like time management and effective study habits.
Time management, whereas students were used to having more hands-on, someone guiding them along the way on an individual basis. Once they get to high school, it's more accountability on the students' end.
The most important aspect of applying to schools is knowing yourself and which university will fit you the best.
Number one, know yourself. Make sure that when you're looking at the colleges and universities that you look at all of the opportunities out there, looking on websites, hearing what is working for other students, but also tying that into what works for you.
According to the National Center for Education Statistics, the enrollment of high school graduates into a college or university has risen over 5 million since 2000 to a total of around 20 million new first-year students each year. So with thousands of applicants, how can students stand out to admissions counselors? To answer this and more, I want to bring in Joe Christie, the Director of Admissions Recruitment at High Point University in High Point, North Carolina. Joe, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure, Tyler. Glad to be here.
Joe, first, what should high school students do in preparing to apply for college?
Well, high school students can do a lot of things, but really what we see now and what we tell and advise a lot of students is to be detailed in every way, and that includes on the application. A lot of students turn in applications these days and they don't proofread them or go over the information that they put in. A lot of it is web-based, and so if they're doing the common application, they tend to type their words right into boxes directly. And instead of going back over everything at the end, making sure things are spelled correctly or that there are no grammatical errors, they tend to just hit the submit button. So be detailed in everything it is that you do, including your personal statement. That should go without saying, but also in all of the other free text boxes that you're using on a daily basis.
Proofreading is so important, Joe. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, please define the necessary steps that students have to go through in the application process.
Well, that differs at every college, and some things I think that are pretty common outside of the application is the fact that students will have to turn in many supporting documents, not limited to, but certainly including at most colleges and universities, your high school transcripts, SAT or ACT scores for international students, the TOEFL or the IELTS tests for international students. And then you typically have letters of recommendation that are due, and also what's fairly common is what's called a counselor report form. Again, most of those items are typical in addition to the application at most colleges and universities that a student may apply to.
What are some of the key qualities that admissions counselors are looking for in applicants?
Well, I think organization. If you turn in organized materials and we get a really good sense of the fact that you're pretty well put together outside of what we can see on paper. That's a big selling point. We're looking for students that can differentiate themselves from a large group of applicants. And so organization, certainly through how you turn in your documents and how detail-oriented you are with them, is certainly one thing that we're looking for. We're also, as all schools are doing, are looking for great academic students, but your extracurricular involvement is a big deal as well. So that's something that we tend to look forward to reading more about throughout the application process and getting to know a student in a post-tour interview, is what else do you bring to the table outside of the classroom, because that's really the larger makeup on a college campus, is the 70% of time that you're outside of the classroom. How are you impacting the campus that you're on?
And with that huge applicant pool, how can students stand out?
Well, differentiating themselves is difficult, right? There are 1 million students applying to college every year. How do you stand out from that group of 1 million students? And that's certainly something that we like to see and read about on the application, but also, as I mentioned, getting to know a student when they come to visit the campus. Do they fit well within our community? Do they feel like they fit well within our community? And so I would encourage a campus visit almost over everything else once you get your materials in, so that you can get to know the look and the feel of a campus and understand if that's where you really belong. The job of most admissions counselors is to make sure that a student ends up in the right place for them. And differentiation is going to be different, no pun intended, for all colleges and universities, but really it's about the fit, both in and out of the classroom. And if a student can come across a certain way when they are visiting the school where they'd like to be, or where they think they'd like to be, in front of an actual admissions counselor, that usually is the nail in the coffin. It is a big, big decision maker for us.
Now, along with students applying to college, they are also applying for scholarships. How can students prepare for those scholarship interviews?
I think one thing that students really overlook is their general appearance. They tend to get so caught up in the X's and O's of what questions are they going to ask me, and how really am I going to respond to these questions, when really the first impression sets the tone for the entire interview. Do you come in well dressed? Do you know how to shake someone's hand and look them in the eye and talk about yourself with confidence? That really is a big deal for us to get to know a student and understand whether or not the rest of the interview is even going to be pertinent. So don't overlook those first few seconds of coming into a room and meeting with someone about a merit-based scholarship, and whether or not you're going to receive one, or whether or not you're going to receive more monies than your original acceptance letter gave you. So shaking someone's hand, looking them in the eye, etc., is a really, really big part of that.
And finally, Joe, applying to college is a very stressful process. What do you recommend for students to relieve some of that stress?
I tend to think it's the most fun thing in the world. It's the biggest decision, yes, as a young person. Maybe the first big decision that your parents give to you on your own with a little bit of help and guidance, but take the stress out of it. Have fun when you're going to visit all of these colleges and universities. I envy the young people who are going and doing this every day, that I get to visit with every day. It is really a fun process and should be fun. Look for things that you want on a college campus. Look for things that are going on in the town where the campus is located. Progress, you want to see some construction, some building. Most schools have that going on, and you need to note that. I tell students to take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, write pros on one side, write cons on the other, and guess what? A lot of that will lead to information that you'll remember about the colleges and schools that you've visited, so that you can make a better decision later on.
Joe, thank you so much for your insight on the admissions process.
Tyler, my pleasure to join you. Go out and do great things in this world.
Well, speaking of great things, our college students who help incoming first-year students adjust to college through leading orientation sessions. And that starts with our first student shout-out, which is Chapin Silberquit, a SOAR orientation leader and sophomore at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro.
I didn't take my first tour until around second semester of my junior year, and I filled out most of my applications in the beginning of my senior year, but also I filled some out later as well. My biggest advice is to just start looking and don't stress yourself out over it, because a lot of people treat it as something overwhelming, and it should be something new and exciting and fun, and it shouldn't be something that worries you. We were all upset after saying goodbye to our families and worried about being in a new place all on our own, and we're the freshmen and everyone knows everything and we don't. And RRAs and just the other students that were upperclassmen kind of took us under their wing, and they just showed us around and they made us feel comfortable. And there are a lot of people in the same boat as you, which is something to remember, because you're not the only freshman.
The friendships and connections you make in college are invaluable, not only during your time here on campus, but far beyond graduation. The connections students make on campus start while living in a residence hall. Nervous, anxious, and excited may be a few words to describe the first time moving away from home. But to ease the fears of moving in is Housing Assignments Coordinator at North Carolina A&T State University, Garion Mangum. Garion, thanks for joining me.
It's my pleasure.
Garion, what are the best ways to successfully adjust from living with your family to a residence hall with other students?
In my opinion, it's the same way as staying home with your family. Everyone here in the Aggie land is considered as family. So, you're just making an adjustment to not being around, your parents or your legal guardian. So with that being said, you will have to find middle ground. Communication is a big key with your roommates. So, that's a big part of the transition.
Communication is definitely key when living with a roommate. Garion, how should students make the transition?
Okay, basically with that, at the orientation is what we do to help prepare them. Once they get here, we house them on campus, to just get the feel what it's going to be like when they're staying on campus for, a whole semester or a whole academic year. So, those 2 days really does, help the students to get, settled in to the campus and also get familiar with the campus.
Explain the necessities students need to bring with them when moving into the residence hall.
All right. First of all, you will need a bed sheet and covers, of course. So we don't want to have you freezing at night, and also just certain items that you would need to bring, like your food for the refrigerator, non-perishable items just in case the electricity goes out, TV for entertainment, bath soap, tissue, things of that nature, just for maintenance on your body.
Garion, what are universities like A&T doing to make sure that residence halls on your campus are safe and welcoming to students?
See, what we do here at A&T, we have cameras in every building on campus. Roughly around in each hallway you will see a camera, and also at nighttime around 5 o'clock or noon we have officers and also security officers inside every building, patrolling the area just to make sure everything is going okay.
Safety is certainly a top priority. Explain to me the benefits of living on campus in a residence hall compared to living off campus in an apartment.
The benefits of living on campus, you don't have to go that far for class in the morning. When the 8 o'clock class come, you can get out your bed, take a shower, and walk straight to class. When you're off campus, you're kind of out of the loop of things that are going on campus. So, when you're on campus, it kind of just, keep you in the loop of things going on, updates, different events that are going on that can help you, also network on campus.
Finally, what advice would you offer parents in preparing their son or daughter for living on their own?
Basically, what you would have to do, just make sure that they are prepared, with the items that they would need inside of their residence hall, as far as the food and different things of that nature. But other than that, once they get here, we basically take care of them. So, they really don't have to worry too much about it.
And the students are certainly in great hands. Garion, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Now for the next student shout out from James Page, a SOAR orientation leader and junior at UNCG.
My number one advice for new students is that the university really cares about you. When I came, I had a misconception, like a lot of people, that people at university, people at college are not going to care if you succeed. They're just going to do their job and keep going. But everyone here at UNCG, at my school, really does care about your success. For me, it's really narrowing down what you want to do. What are things that you want to do that you feel are important for you to succeed, important for you to be happy, and you really have to hone in on that, because I'm someone, I want to do everything. I want to be involved in almost every club that I'm eligible for, but that's not possible. So I really think about, what does James want to do?
After committing to a college, moving in, and starting your first year, students begin to feel as if they are walking a tightrope with all the responsibilities they must attend to day in and day out. But each college or university offers several resources to guide each student to success with ease. But to go more in depth on the importance of getting involved from the beginning and maintaining a balance, I'd like to invite Dr. Kim Sousa-Peoples, the Director of New Student and Spartan Family Programs at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, to join me. Dr. Sousa-Peoples, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
First, how can students successfully make the transition from high school to college?
Well, there's lots of ways that a student could do that. I think the number one thing is to stay in contact with your institution, make sure you're checking those emails, answer the emails, do all the things that your admissions counselor and the orientation people are telling you to do, so that over the summer you get prepared, and when you go in the fall, you're ready to start classes.
Orientation is key. What is the most crucial factor in having a successful college career?
Well, there's more than one. I think certainly going to class, getting up, keeping up with your studies is the most important part about the academics. I think getting involved, really making it your home so that you want to be there and want to stay, make friends, because it is your home for 4 years. And if you're not comfortable, you're probably not going to be successful. So taking advantage of all the resources, reaching out, trying new things, and definitely keeping up with your studies.
Now, why is having a balance between academics and extracurriculars important to having a fulfilling college career?
All right. Well, just like life, there's, if you're working, you don't want to just work. You need to attend to your family and your hobbies and things like that. So it's the same for a college student. So while the classroom experience is important, so is the out of classroom experience. So, and that balance keeps you healthy. So we want students to make friends and have a social life. We want them to exercise and work out and stay healthy. We want them to sleep so that they're awake in the classroom. So all of that balance is important. So students learn outside of the classroom as well. So if they're not taking advantage of meeting new people and people from all over the world, taking advantage of new types of opportunities, they learn there as well. So that makes for a well-rounded student.
Learning inside and outside the classroom is essential, but at times students lose sight of the end goal. What would you recommend as a motivator to keep students striving to succeed?
Well, there's a few things. I would say that one of the motivations is to think about how much money you're spending to attend college. It is an investment. It's like anything that you would invest a lot of money in, and you certainly don't want to waste that time and money. So that is one way to keep yourself motivated. I think, trying to remember that at the end of those 4 years, not only are you going to be a more educated, well-rounded person, but the job market today requires, for many jobs, to have a college degree. And we know that students will want to have a certain type of lifestyle, and possibly to have that, they'll need that degree in hand. I think surrounding yourself with people who support you, who have a goal for you as well, your parents, your family, your friends, who can kind of keep you moving in the right direction is important.
What are the best ways for a student to get involved at a college or university?
So there's many ways to get involved in the campus community. Right off the bat at orientation or at your welcome week activities, there'll be all sorts of events that introduce you to student organizations and clubs, and there's such a wide variety. At UNCG there's over 200, so it's not a small group of organizations to choose from. If you don't see one you like, every university has some kind of policy where you can start your own. So those are great ways to get involved. Working on campus, student employment is a great way to get connected and to get some real world experience and to have some references to help build your resume. And also getting connected with the local community. So here in Greensboro, we have all sorts of ways that we can help students get involved through leadership and service learning and community service events, heading out into the community and, you know, doing some good things out there, and also just kind of getting out and about, whether it's downtown or to local sporting events or whatever it is. We encourage students to get off campus too and learn about Greensboro.
And finally, college can be a very stressful time for students. What methods do you recommend for students to de-stress, especially during exams?
Well, I would say one of the best things is either exercise or sleep. Those things kind of get lost by students sometimes. So they get so busy with studying and friends that they may forget how important sleep is. And when you're tired, things just seem more stressful. If you've kept up all semester with your studies, hopefully that makes it less stressful when you get to exam time. I think you know, planning for some relaxation time, so you know, a couple hours here of studying, a couple hours of working out or hanging out with friends is also helpful. But I think the more that you can keep yourself up to speed with your classes, when you hit finals, it won't be so overwhelming.
Keeping up with classes, great insight on balance for incoming students. Thank you, Dr. Susan Peoples.
You're welcome, thank you.
Now for our final student shout out from Anna Kristen Petit, a SOAR orientation leader and junior at UNCG.
We have a lot of programs geared towards like concerts and entertainment, and then we also have a lot of programs that are fundamentally educational, especially within residence halls and within the campus atmosphere. I always like to remind my orientees that everyone is starting at that same place of ambiguity and unsure, insecurity. Everyone's coming from that place when they enter college, whether it be traditional freshman, commuting, transfer, and adult. Everyone has that sense of, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But once you can realize that there are 300 other freshmen or transfers coming in with that same mentality, you feel a sense of community and like, hey, you know, I'm going to help you out, you're going to help me out, and we're going to be okay.
Your alma mater has so much to offer after you graduate: career placement, an extensive network of connections, and a way to stay in touch with lifelong friends. But although you're not taking classes on campus, does not mean you should not give back to your university. I sat down with UNCG Alumni Association President Jeff Collins on why staying involved after graduation is crucial to the success of a university. First, what does colleges like UNCG offer to students after graduation?
We have a very active alumni association. We have 110,000 members scattered around the world. We have things such as career development, mentorship programs. If you're new to an area, we can pair you up with a fellow Spartan that's been in the town for a while. So just a multitude of things like that we offer after you graduate.
And now, why is it important after you graduate to come back and support your alma mater?
It's extremely important, and particularly for public universities such as UNCG. People seem to have the impression that a public university is state supported, when in fact they're state funded, they're not state supported. Currently, UNCG gets 30% of their budget from the state, 30% from tuition and fees, and the balance comes from donors. So as you graduate and give back to your school, you're giving back to the people that helped you.
Of course, you are very active in the Alumni Association here at UNCG. You've been on the board and now the president. Tell me why it's important for a graduate to get involved with the Alumni Association and what the Alumni Association offers to both UNCG as a whole and the graduates.
Well, it's a great experience from a number of perspectives. One is UNCG's motto is service, and it's a great opportunity to engage with fellow alumni from your class period or from different periods. That's one of the great things about what I've been able to do. I've met graduates from as far back as the 40s to last May. And even though there's a huge span of time and obviously an age difference, everybody has that common UNCG story that they can connect and build around. Huge social aspect, but the service aspect is more important than that as well.
Of course, and making those connections for finding careers and just meeting people all over the area, that's such a crucial factor with the Alumni Association. What is your advice to those incoming freshmen who will be here at UNCG next year?
Well, I tell them to find your niche. UNCG is a very diverse campus, a lot of activities, a lot goes on. Find what's important to you and plug in there. It's important for you to get engaged and involved and find like-minded people that can support you and help you out. We do that with the Alumni Association as well. For current students, we have a student alumni ambassadors that get students engaged as students, so when they are when they do graduate, they're ready to plug into the Alumni Association.
Awesome. Jeff Collins, president of the Alumni Association, Spartan Club member, graduate, and 84. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler. My pleasure.
Very insightful interview with Jeff Collins on why it's so crucial to stay involved with your alma mater after graduation. I want to leave you now with a quote from the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. Let us think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us there is a private hope and dream which fulfilled can be translated into benefit for everyone and a greater strength for our nation. For more information regarding College 101, visit thetdhmedia.com and connect with Tyler Hardin across all social media platforms. I hope you've learned more about how college can be an exciting, challenging, and rewarding time in your life. Thanks for watching College 101. I'm Tyler Hardin. Have a great day.